The top 25 is out for the Associated Press.
Yes.
Preseason top 25.
Yeah.
The Ducks.
That matters.
Yeah, it doesn't, but it's kind of cool to see the Ducks in the top 5.
Absolutely.
You know,
we had the coaches poll, and now we have this. The coaches poll is what? Oregon was third.
yeah,
if
it's
I'm
third.
not mistaken.
They're third here
Third
too.
in both. Yep.
Yeah, it's Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon in a stunning turn of events. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, I think I caught a discrepancy in the Oregon press release on this, though.
You did.
Yeah, because they were saying that this is the first time that Oregon has opened in the preseason top 5 since 2015.
Okay.
I believe that is actually 2014, because that was the year that Helfrich and Mariota went all the way to the championship game against Ohio State. That was 14. And that was the year that team was preseason top 5. They had a lot of hype. And then the year after that, Mariota was gone, and they were not.
They're fact checkers.
They were not top 5. Yeah, what's up with that, Ducks?
What's up with that?
Ooh-wee.
What's up with that? Yeah, they've got the ceiling 12-0 and the floor 9-3.
Who's they?
Well, that's like ESPN put out. They did it. They this is what the AP rankings, and then they did a little synopsis on each one. So each team, they have the ceiling and they have the floor. Shocker, the ceiling for Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon, and Texas, and Alabama are all 12-0. Now, Ole Miss, that comes in at 6, their ceiling 10-2, but they believe that the top 5 teams can all go 12-0.
If I gave you those top 5 teams right now, or the field,
I'll take top 5.
Yeah, you taking one of those 5?
Well, college football is just really not a.
Yeah, it's probably one of those 5.
And I know with the expanded playoff, things can get a little wonky. But if you told me that I'm getting, because it's not coming. The national champion is not coming from 39th. So basically, what you're saying at that point is you're giving me.
Yeah, that's true.
Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Bama, or you're giving me the next probably 10 to 12.
Can I retract the question?
Yeah.
That was a bad question.
Yeah. Now, if you say
because then the field is basically just Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, Florida State, maybe an LSU.
Yeah, it's not even close.
And that's it.
Yeah. So the real one would be if I gave you like 2. If you were to say you give me 2 teams that you could take, like if you could take Georgia and Oregon, or Ohio State and Oregon or whatever versus the field, then that gets a little wonkier, and I think I would be more inclined to take the field, especially with a 12-team playoff. But, there's a 95% chance that your national champion is going to be Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, or Bama.
Okay, so I'll give you Georgia and Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that.
Or the field.
I think I'll take that. I'll take Georgia or Ohio State.
Damn it.
Yeah. No.
All right, I'll give you Georgia and Oregon.
I think I'd still take that.
Or
the field. If you gave me,
I'll give you Georgia or the field.
If you give me Georgia and one of the 2 best teams in the Big Ten, which is Ohio State or Oregon, I'll take that.
I'll take that. I'll give you Georgia and Kansas or the field. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I'll probably pass on that.
Okay.
I'm a little less hesitant about another SEC team. Although, I mean, honestly, if you gave me Georgia because of the expanded playoff, Texas is going to be in there. Alabama is going to be in there. I mean, look, I just that's not a bad bet either. If you just give me the top 2 SEC teams and I guess you could say the same thing about the 2 Big Ten teams. And with no disrespect to Oregon, no disrespect to Ohio State, I'll just bet on the SEC. I think the best team last year in the country was probably Georgia. They just didn't get in. And Georgia's back. I don't think Alabama's going anywhere. They say Texas, this team is ridiculously loaded. I think from a talent standpoint, it's probably slightly better than what Oregon has. But I mean, there's just those 5 teams are the best 5 teams in college football. One of them will win the national championship.
Some Oregon top 25 nuggies for you. I went back and looked here.
I like nuggies.
From their inaugural season in 1916 all the way to 2000. How many times was Oregon ranked in the preseason? That's an 84-year span, Jace.
Just ranked, period, in the preseason.
Correct.
I'll go like
84 years.
84. Give me like 35.
The answer is once.
Once?
Yep.
Once.
Preseason, one time.
Get right the hell out of town.
Not even kidding.
Oh, God.
Now, during that span, they made the top 25 during the season
Mm-hmm.
21 times.
Okay, so a little closer.
But they finished in the top 25 during that 84-year span just 4 times.
Not great.
Not great.
Not great.
Now, from 2000 to 2023.
Yeah. Okay. This is that now. It becomes one of. I think it's one of the 10 winningest programs in
Yeah.
the country.
I mean, they've been pretty nasty. They've been ranked in they were ranked in the preseason 20 of 24 times if you count this year.
Yeah.
20 of 24 times, and they made the top 25 during that span every season.
Yeah.
And finished ranked 16 of the 23.
I just would have thought. I mean, top 25 at some point. I just would have thought with they weren't the worst program in the country. I would have thought they would have been there more than that.
Look, you may have to do some fact checking on the
but the point
just on the idea that there may have been no preseason ranking back in 1970. I don't know, but if you go to the Oregon Football Index,
that's what they give you
on Football Reference, you can see it lists preseason ranking, highest ranking during the season, and their last ranking, the final ranking, and so it was pretty easy to put all this together.
Yeah.
But so just one time, 1954, by the way, that the Ducks were ranked 18th in the preseason.
Well, I'll be damned. That's
Isn't that crazy? And now they're top 5.
Well, I was talking to someone. I was sitting around this weekend. Was talking to some people who were big Coug fans, and of course, anytime you're a Coug beat fan, you got to talk about the Pac-2, and then Oregon comes up, and they all hate Oregon. And
well, my.
It's the most unique. I mean, I've been watching football my whole life, right? 40 years I've been paying attention, been doing it professionally for 20, been, we played in it, and, I just can't think of another comp kind of like Oregon. They really are unique because it's not just a rich booster. It's a rich booster with the most successful marketing company in the world behind him and Nike, and the resources and just everything that's been built and ahead of the curve and all that. It's unique. It's interesting to see. I understand why people hate it. I understand why the other people get bitter and angry, but just as an outsider, having grown up here and watched kind of the growth of this from where you were talking about where they were to now, it's been kind of fun. It's a hell of a ride, and I just don't think there's another thing quite like it in college football. And whether or not it ever leads to a national championship, I mean, who the hell knows? Those are really hard to come by. But you can't deny that the last 30 years of Oregon football, from where they were at to this, and it's not going anywhere. This is a sustainable program. It's going to be here for the foreseeable future. It's one of the really impressive accomplishments in college football.
I have 2 other top 25 nuggies.
Mm-hmm.
One pertaining to Washington, your Huskies.
The Dogies.
They were not ranked this year. They got votes. They are just the second team since 1950 to be unranked in the preseason after finishing second the year before.
Was TCU the other?
No, Army, 1951.
Oh.
I think TCU did get like a 21 ranking or something last year.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's like back-to-back years.
Yeah, no. I remember they had a low 20s, or they had a 20s ranking when they played Colorado.
Not relating to this in any sort of way other than it's Washington, I saw this fun nugget. If the University of Washington was a country, it would have finished 16th in the medal count.
Yeah. You know what? I actually
What does that mean for Stanford then? My goodness.
Well,
I think that's
I have all of that coming up later in a fun little tidy segment we're going to call Olympics Twisties.
Ooh, love the Twisties.
But I did see that. There were a lot of Washington medals.
Yeah, I just thought of that. And I was
Paris.
kind of like, oh, I'll be damned.
And the last nugget is Florida. We know how hard their schedule is.
Yeah. Billy Napier is going to be fired in 3, 2, and 1.
But now looking at the rankings, their final 5 games, this is the Florida Gators, their final 5 games this season, they will play number 1, number 4, number 13, number 6, and number 10 all in a row.
Oh my! Is that the hardest stretch ever?
I don't know.
But
that's, dude, I can't imagine one that was that rivaled that.
That's so bad.
Has a team ever played like the top 5 teams all in a row? I can't imagine they would ever lined up that way.
You think Billy Napier is just sitting around being like, seriously, like this is how I lose my job? That's no fault of his.
He's already having his agent craft up why this schedule wasn't fair.
Seriously.
He's got him doing a cycle of roids down there.
They need to be doing more
Bulk up, boys.
They need to be doing more than a cycle. They need to be on, and not just roids, they need to be on that Olympic basketball program. Some HGH, some Tren, some low-grade horse tranquilizer, some EPO. Just get Bonds and Armstrong in a room, Conte, A-Rod, get them all. Let's go. Some of that Ben Johnson stuff.